Greetings. This is Scholar Saunders Singh. What's current? Now, I'm not a player hater. I'm an objective hater. Not the objective hater. The objective hater is, of course, Mr. Troy Star Terrain. Um, but I want to go on a rant here. I want to go on a bipolar meets another bipolar man of color rant here. And if you are out there, I'm calling out to the interwebs. Keith, I can't pronounce your username, but Keith, I know it's afternoon in Japan, and if you have some time, I guess you're on your lunch break or whatever the case is, chime in, let it be known, let yourself be heard, let yourself be, understood on the chat room. I'd appreciate it. We can talk, business. Larry Smith, salute to Larry Smith. Larry Smith in here, all right. How much have you donated to the All right, so Kanye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, Ye, and Dolla have clinched the #1 spot on the Billboard 200 albums chart. So they beat out Usher, who just performed on the Super Bowl. He was the halftime show, and he did a hell of a job. I still think the Weeknd's was more mysterious and engaging, and not, and Usher did a great job. His was more conventional. It wasn't like he did a bad job. It was just okay. I can expect him to introduce some of his people that he collaborated with and stuff like that, and dance and sing, and he's gonna do something like that. But I think the Weeknd and even Rihanna's, her multi layers, her levels that she had, that she performed in while she was pregnant. I mean, that was extraordinary. But we have to get to this album, this playlist, this set of songs, whatever the case may be. I haven't heard it, and I'm not going to listen to it for as long as that I can, for the foreseeable future. I will not listen to Vultures 1. I will not, because I have principles. And I thought that Travis Scott, I thought that Chris Brown, I thought that even Dolla would have principles and go against what Ye has to offer. He has to offer vitriol. He has to offer cliches. He has to offer, nonsense. And he's trolling the world. He's trolling every, basic place that he can find. But he still has supporters. That's why I'm not a player hater. I have to recognize the fact that he has supporters. He has people in his corner that are obviously cheering and saluting him and bring him up to levels of greatness. If he scored his 11th #1 album, 1-1. You can't have two #1s. That'd be 11. What movie is that from? But anyway, it's very weird. It's a goofy. These are my words. I always love to say it, but it's goofy. It's weird because it is. He has bipolar disorder. It's no excuse. I mean, if I mess up, I'm not saying it's because of my bipolar disorder. It's because of my mind. It's because I made an error in my head of knowledge. I might have had a moral breach. It could be irredeemable. It could be redeemable, but it was a moral breach nonetheless. But I take up for it. He allegedly, I mean, this is what, months and months afterwards, the fact that he disparaged Jewish people. He had that, sad, half-assed little note, saying he's sorry, and he wants to have reconciliation, and I'm just paraphrasing, but that's the way it goes. That's the way it has to be. He has to apologize to more people. He has to visit the Holocaust sites. He has to go to, Jewish learning and training. That's what I would see, not another album. I'm not taking it away. Like I said, I'm not a player hater. I'm just hating on the fact that all these artists that came on his album, you know, you got Playboy Cardi and Rich the Kid, YG, Freddie Gibbs, Lil Durk, and Bump J, and they dug up some kind of files or records from Nipsey Hussle. He's obviously can't speak for himself because he perished. So that's a sad kind of state of affairs to be in. It's a weird, it's a strange place that we're in where we have Kanye West. He's broken. He can't ever achieve the heights of success. Even with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was my favorite Ye album. It's my favorite Ye album. It's such, and that's saying a lot because the college dropout, late registration, graduation, 808s and heartbreak. You know, there, even Yeezus, and multiple other albums. They all rank high. They at least have one song that I like. Even Donda I liked. Yay was it was mid. It was okay. It was kind of good. Jesus King was a great album and a great look for him because I was expecting this. I didn't know when he would do it. I'm also expecting if he had a classical album or opera. That's what I'm expecting from Ye. So, but all these different, even the life of Pablo. I mean, that was a mess, but it was a good mess. It was like the songs weren't in the right order. They didn't have the right sound to them, but they all sounded great individually. It's weird. It wasn't like a cohesive album, but the songs individually sounded great. But this one, the Vultures won. I mean, this is disrespect. I mean, they said he was dropped from the YouTube from they said he was dropped from Apple, but I'm gonna go on Apple real quick. Look it up. It's still on there. It looks like it's still. I mean, I'm not gonna play it, but the track list is still available. It looks like you can still play it, but they said they stripped it, and then they said they stripped it from iTunes. I thought they got rid of iTunes a long time ago. I don't know. Makes no sense. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm going on my bipolar rant right now for a fellow bipolar patient. That's not my bipolar. That's my superpower. He said, "I'm a superhero." Ah! You can't blame bipolar on your actions. That's too easy. That's too cheap. Like your mom. No, but you can't do that. I can't do that either. I can't say, "Oh, well, I have bipolar disorder. It's the reason why I'm crazy." And I said that thing. No, I said it and I meant it. And God damn it, I'm standing on it. I'm not gonna, blame my illness. My illness is basically, my some of my behaviors, not anything that I thought out and planned and had an idea of doing. So the same thing goes with the artist formerly known as Kanye West. Yay. Same thing goes with him. He has the same mindset. He has to have the same mindset. He has to have some maniacal way of conveying his thoughts. He was already brash and self-serving and self-effacing at the same time. He would go against himself at times, but that's just all in the game. Dame, I just read this. Dame didn't even have faith in him. I thought Dame was the one that said, you got to have this guy, this kid is the truth. That wasn't the case early on. It wasn't even Dame. Dame eventually came around, but Jay was very standoffish. He was very like, this kid's a nerd. I don't think he's, gonna help out the Rock, and It's not going to be a good look for us if we sign him. But it all came to pass that he was able to be signed to Rockefeller Records. And I read articles just this past few days, almost, what was it, 2 weeks, a week ago, a little over a week ago, the 20th anniversary of the College Dropout uh, was marked, and so it really goes into territory where he had that relatability and then that extension, that he was above the fray, but then he could go down under too. He was above water, but then he could go deep, deep into places where people can touch, like, oh, the kid that made that deserves that Maybach, like, who has a Maybach? But where he came from folding clothes at the Gap, he came from next to a no smoking sign with a blunt in the mall, and then late registration comes around. He's saying like he's in college, and he's showing up as the dropout bear, and he's just discovering who he is and what he's about. Then it gets to graduation, and it's like more soulful beats, no skits, no sketches, nothing like that on any of the on the record. I don't know if this one has sketches. I may never know. That's just one to grow with. I think it's a travesty. I think it's really like a slap in the face. And I'm not player hating. This is not a player hate. Oh, yeah, you should do this. Yeah, you shouldn't. I'm saying this is a bipolar rant. I have bipolar disorder, and I can tell what the difference is between having a manic episode or being in depressive mode, different things like that. That's what I can say. That's what I can tell. So Ye has money. Don't get it confused. Allegedly, the last report I saw, he had $400 million. That is chump change to Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. That's what they spend on, in addition to their house or a yacht or something like that, or philanthropy or whatever the case may be. That's nothing to them. That's pixie dust. But that's still a lot of money, comparatively speaking. They said, like I said before, ultra high net worth is about $30 million. So $400 million is pretty goddamn good. And he's making more money. He's going to make money off of this album. He's going to make even more money. He's going to tour probably. He's going to, milk this machine for all it's worth. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that. I'm not player hating. I will say it over and over again. I'm not player hating. I'm hating, but I'm not player hating. I'm objective. I'm using objective hate to denounce and to decry Mr. West and Ty Dolla $ign. What's up with Ty Dolla $ign? What was in his head? I got to link up with Ye. I got to do this thing. I got to, this is all part of the plan. I'm gonna get my first #1 album, credit, even though it's a collaboration album. It's a weird thing. It's like it's kind of like the Outkast Speaker Box Love Below, but it's still on one disc. They didn't split it up, but he's featured on every song. So, and they don't have the names of the people in the songs in the set list and the playlist. But this was goofy too. I don't understand. From what I thought, Ye had a problem with Kim Kardashian dressing, scantily, being scantily clad. But on this, this whole, media circus and affair, and even on the album cover, he's got his wife, Bianca Censori. She's barely naked. That's almost a redundancy, but she's barely clothed. That's probably the best one to say. She's barely clothed. She has the little cover to go over her butt crack, and she has high boots on, and it appears like she has nothing on her breasts or anything. They're obscured, but it's apparent that she's very, she's not wearing a tunic or a nun's outfit or something like that. She's very scantily clad. She's showing a lot of skin, and I thought that's what was one of the breaking points of what the Ye and Kim Kardashian um relationship was. I thought that was one of the sticking points, that she was, she always dressed very, quote unquote inappropriately in Ye's eyes. So I can't review the album. I mean, I saw the reviews. There, it's no wide acclaim. I don't think Ye will ever get wide acclaim ever again. He had College Dropout. That was pretty much widespread acclaim. Late Registration was pretty much widespread acclaim. Graduation got decent remarks, didn't get super acclaim. Same thing with 808s. My Beautiful Duchess of Fantasy, wide acclaim. Yeezus didn't get wide acclaim, but it got a few masterpieces, got a few perfect notes. Was The Life of Pablo, the same thing. They said it was like a messy art gallery, Yay. Yay was the same thing, but worse. It got lesser great reviews. It's kind of a mess, but it had a great songs on there. I'm gonna try to check out what this. I always forget the name of the song. I think it's Ghost Town. Ghost Town is a great song. It's an excellent song. But yeah, and then you have I think the next. Hold on, let me make 100% sure. Well, he had a compilation album called Could See Ghosts with a super group, Could See Ghosts, Kanye West, Ye, Kid Cudi, and then Jesus is King. Jesus is King is not a stretch. This is what I expected from him. It's completely Christian themed. He has choirs. He's got Fred Hammond on it, a gospel singer and gospel producer and arranger. Ty Dolla $ign was on this album. So they definitely formed a bond, I guess. So that's pretty special to me. But yeah, this whole occasion, this whole issue is a completely a sham. It's completely fraudulent in my eyes. He should just stay low, not create any more music, not make any more projects or anything. Just take his wife, live in a hamlet somewhere in Switzerland, away from the cameras, away from different people, and just live out his days. He's got the money, he's got the girl. I understand why he's not doing that. He wants to produce more, but I'm one less supporter. I was a major Kanye supporter. I had the polo. I didn't have the pink polo, but I had the green polo with my collar up. I had the I had the jeans, the light jeans in the front with the dark around them, with the Wallabies, or the Nike Blazers. I remember that. That was in high school. That's how old as hell as I am. Yes, thank you, Larry. He said, "Don't forget he's selling his clothing line for Vultures for $20 a piece." I saw that. They got people like this in the website, like that, and like tunics and stuff like that, white shirts or black shirts. They got stuff like that. Thank you for pointing that out. Don't forget to donate to me. But thanks for pointing that out, Larry. I appreciate that. Because I did see his website, Yeezy.com. And it's true. He's got everything for $20. All of it's for $20. So that's something to look at, something to understand. Um, so he has his brand, he has his music, and that's another thing too. He has multiple streams of income. He has his album sales, he has his clothing line, he has, I'm sure he has different projects that people don't even know about. There's another stream of income. He was briefly a billionaire, briefly. That all got switched away. Like when Adidas drops you, Gap drops you, and when banks drop you, that that's that's just devastating, really, and that's what should happen. That should be devastating because he shouldn't have said those things. I'm not blaming Nori and DJ Effin, EF, and I guess I don't know, but when you go on Drink Champs, it changes your life. I guess I don't know what happens. Benzino was crying. This is another story, but Kodak Black was drawn. He was saying, he looked like he was on something special. Allegedly. Um, but you get on Drink Champs, you start talking. You start talking all crazy or doing something all crazy. So that's what happened. He went, he just leaned back and said, I gotta go DEF CON on all the Jews. Like, that was not the right thing to do. Like, not at all. Could you imagine what he would say if Jelly Roll said, got onto a platform and said, we have to go on these niggers. We have to talk about these niggers. He would be the first in line to it probably would happen. He'll say, you know what? I'm totally against that. He's going to be on my album. We're going to do a gospel song together, something like that. That's probably what Ye would do. He wouldn't even acknowledge the fact that I don't mind white people saying the word nigger. It's just what the intention is and what the context is. And anyway, even out of context, I wouldn't mind a white person saying nigger. So there's that little tidbit. But I just want to rant. Because he went to the numero uno spot, right on the dot, right on there. Didn't mean to rhyme right there, but I did. But yeah, so Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign. Yay and Ty Dolla $ign. What? That's how goofy he is. He tried to change his name. Everybody calls him Kanye West. Just like Twitter, X, whatever. Everybody says Twitter. Nobody says X. Maybe in the following years, it may pick up. People say X. People say Yay. Prince, he was smart. He didn't even have. He didn't even change his name to a noun, or a proper name. He changed his name to a symbol, the love symbol. So many people say, But I just want to rant here. This is my rant. Because Ye had a body of work that was mostly very good. Like, he gets an A, like the lowest A possible, like a 93 on that scale. He gets that rating. So I just need to rant. I just need to clear the air. I just need to say my piece. Say that I'm never going to listen to Vulture 1 for the foreseeable future. It's not happening. I don't support. This is a weird thing we have to discuss too. Semite. Semite means what? What the hell is a Semite? Before I look it up, it's somebody from the Semitic. Okay. Anyone. Semitic people. It's an obsolete term for ethnic, cultural, or racial group associated with people of the Middle East, just Middle East, including Arabs, Jews, Akkadians, and Phoenicians. So that's and is supposed to be an absolute obsolete term. But anti-Semitism, or the term anti-Semite, comes to a circuitous route to refer to more narrowly to anyone who is hostile or discriminatory towards Jews in particular. If you go into the dictionary, it's like in the third entry. A member of any other people who speak or spoke a Semitic language, including in particular the Jews and Arabs. So if you talk about the Jews or Arabs, you're talking about Jews or Arabs, right? They're Semites as well, Arabs. But anyway, he had, let's just, for the sake of the argument, okay, whoa, we went from 2 to 0. Wow, that was fast. Okay. Life comes at you fast when you're having fun. But um, he offered anti-Semitic language. And that's how beautiful and strong that collection of people is as individuals. I would say, they're collective because, just to say Semites or Jews or anything like that, but as individuals, they had to say, okay, we're not going to tolerate this. This is, and it is amazing to me because I think Spotify and Tidal, even Apple, like I said, Apple, from what I understand, let me make 100% sure. I'm going to just see if it plays. Yeah, the album was playing on Apple Music. They must have reinstated it. Maybe I missed that. I missed that news. It says Kanye West didn't say yay, and Ty Dolla removed from Apple Music. It's not true. That's not true. Distributor claims it. Donna Summer entered prolating song pulled from Spotify. This was 4 days ago. So it's just a mess. I think this is a hot, stanky mess. How Ye has can continue with his life. That's the thing we have with life with people. I just name random people: Julia Roberts, Will Smith, just celebrities and thinkers, SZA, uh, Kendrick Lamar. It's just random people. You have a different affinity or a different understanding of who they are just by thinking their names. Just the body of work they've had, the actions they've had in the press, and how they relate to people, and it's just a fascinating thing. But I can only knock this album not because it went to number one. Now, I almost celebrated because of that. That's part of me that's not the player hater. Get that money, do what you got to do, but I can't support it. Don't ask me to. Don't look to me to support it. I'm not ever gonna stream the songs. I'm not ever gonna do anything like that. This is my bipolar rant. This is what I know. I'm well aware of it. This is the part of reality that I subscribe to. This is what I understand. So if anybody does listen to the album, Salute you. Just don't ask me to do the same. All right. So, what is today? Today is President's Day. Some people are off. Some people are getting double time and a half. Some people, this is a very important day because it's basically Washington's birthday, um, and related to Lincoln's birthday. So they kind of combine them all together just to celebrate all the presidents. But do we celebrate all the presidents? Can we not lump President Washington with President Trump? Can we not lump President Jefferson with Barack Obama? Can we not lump President Adams or President um, let me see. What other great or very good or great presidents are there? There's a few, but President Lincoln with President Clinton. I mean, they're light years apart, a great distance apart. But yeah. So don't allow people to say well, all the presidents are great. No, 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 no. There's degrees. Some people are on the positive, on the high note, like George Washington. Some people are on the very low note, in the negative, like Richard Nixon or Donald Trump or Barack Obama. These are terrible presidents. Obama, Trump, Nixon, for different reasons, of course, but especially because of the fact that they had policies and different ideas that were deleterious to the nation. They were very disgusting. They were nasty. And that's the crop we get. Because they go to the same schools, the same churches, they have the same activities, they have the same mindsets, they have everything that's brought up through who we are as Americans. And that's what makes it, possible for them to be terrible presidents. Like FDR, terrible, horrible president. Jimmy Carter, horrible president. George H.W. Bush, mediocre. He didn't even have enough time really. And same thing with Carter, but he was just worse because he was so milquetoast about the Iran uh, hostage crisis or prisoners of war. That was an act of war, was it not? To go against the embassy? Was that not? Should we not have flattened Iran, after the hostages were evacuated? But it is President's Day. It is a day to reflect and to remember on not just Washington and Lincoln, but the ideas of all people, all nationalities, all ethnic backgrounds in the United States of America. And I'm not going to venture to say that we're in a post-racial, America because of Barack Obama, but I think it's better that we have Trump, because with Trump it was like, oh, those are the racists. Oh, I get it now. Because there was a joke by Patrice O'Neill. He was like, I know the racism exists, but I can't. He can't really pin down, who is racist, what is racist. Now the people that wore the khakis with the belts and the polo shirts with the tiki torches, they're racist. The people that ran, in the streets with the BLM shirts on, they're racist. Black people can be racist too. Some of the worst racists. And that is the term we had to say. I was brought up to speed with the term race man or race woman. Anyone concerned with their own race. I thought that was just a racist, but I was instructed, or I was, encouraged to use the term race man or race woman. And that's what happened with, President Barack Obama. Oh, this is a racist country. Oh, really? You elected a mixed man that apparently has some color twice, and this is a racist country? You got to be kidding me. Now, of course, the reason why he was elected primarily was because of white guilt, because they felt some type of way. They felt, oh well, we've been down on the Negroes, and they got to come up and let them. If it wasn't an election, everybody would say it'd be affirmative action, and I'm totally against affirmative action. I think it's a complete sham. I think it's completely vicious to everybody involved. The person that wants to excel in a profession, or even before that, to get a position in a particular school or university, whether they be of color or they're white. Let them, whoever doesn't get the job shouldn't get the job because of their abilities, and the person that should get the job should get it based on merit. That's the power of freedom in America. That's the true notion of equality. That's equal. When you have somebody that reaches a level of education that is exemplary, or somebody that reaches a level of employment that is going to manifest and be great in their lives, that's what's wonderful. That's a great thing. That should be commended. So what does that have to do with presidents? Presidents, like, I think, I'm making sure, I think it was Truman had the first idea of affirmative action. But Truman, he went sideways. He had one hand where he desegregated the military. That was a huge step, to desegregate the military. Because it's just so stupid. It's like, if there weren't lynchings and burnings and stabbings and rape and just disgustingness, it would be the greatest farce of all time. That's why you have black comedians especially, but white comedians as well, but in other races. But there's so many jokes. There's so many jokes. Cause it's serious. It's not. It's like, are you serious? This person has a higher concentration of melanin than you do, so you hate them. This person has curlier hair or brown eyes, and this person has green eyes, but this person has blue eyes, and they have black in them as well, or African American, or ADOS, or FBA, Foundational Black American, American descendant of slavery. What is that about? What do we even do with that? How do we even function properly? What is the level of understanding that we should be on? Presidents have certain powers. They don't have full powers. They have certain powers to show whatever they can to try to advance the country. That's basically it. To try to advance the country in a more positive place. Now, they've pretty much all been, in certain circumstances, or most of them, modern presidents. George W. Bush, terrible president in certain circumstances, but mostly a terrible president. We were on a streak. Just horrible, awful, worse and worse and worse. Blood on hands. Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden all had blood on their hands for their bungling of the, first of all, the Iraq War, then the Afghan War, the Afghanistan War. Both of those wars were bungled because of the president's ineptitude, all of them, to secure the safety of the American troops. They have blood-stained hands. They should be, brought up on charges. If you ask me, serious charges, not just $350 million, lawsuit, civil suit, whatever the case may be. I'm talking about prison, federal, you know, criminal charges. From what I understand, matter of fact, let me look it up. I'm looking it up right now. Yeah. There were 2,402 United States military deaths in war in Afghanistan. 1,921 were due to hostile action. I'm gonna look up Iraq. It's more. Now they're trying to be so goofy. Now they're not showing it. They're not showing it. God damn it. I'm not seeing it. This is crazy. God damn. I'm looking for it right now. Iraq, U.S. war deaths. All right, this is not fun. That's not funny. This is serious. This is crazy. I want to look up American casualties. Casualties. Not showing up. This is crazy. This is messed up. You know what I wanted to say. But getting back to the presidents, Lincoln, he had, he oversaw. Okay, here we go. Okay, 4,492 Iraq operations United States servicemen killed. 4,492 people that had, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. It was before Space Force, and Coast Guard really wasn't around. But they had to have a knock on the door. They had to, step up and say, "I'm sorry, your son or your daughter was. I regret to inform you." So that's four people: Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden. For Iraq, before it was Iraq with Bush and Obama mainly, somewhat with Trump, and definitely with Biden. And that's something we had to discuss too. They're just showing on Sunday morning a news program I love. Um, the question is, are Trump and Biden fit for duty? Are they fit for mental capacity wise? Are they thoughtful enough? Or do they have enough verve? Do they have enough vigor to withstand all the different things? I am voting for Nikki Haley if she goes, past the nomination, which doesn't look likely, sadly, but we don't know what happens in the next few months. We don't know what will happen. So I was voting for her just because she is competent. She has a relatively good track record. She was a UN ambassador. We should get rid of the UN, by the way. But presidents love it. Presidents don't have a mind of it. Oh yeah, I know a UN ambassador. But it is President's Day. It is the day to observe the presidents and celebrate some. Celebrate Washington, Lincoln, um, certain aspects of Reagan. Um, that's something to be told. From 1980 to 1989, there are only conflicts and different things like that. There wasn't a declaration of war. There was nothing like that. So you have to give proper credit, somewhat, I guess, to to a degree. to Reagan for that. But and I also have to give credit to Carter. He deregulated the trucking and airline industries. See, they're mixed bags. Clinton. He made a mockery and a mess and a horrific, you know, viewpoint of what the Oval Office is supposed to be. But he balanced. He left with a surplus. He didn't leave with debt. He left the United States with a surplus. Just look that up. So it was the largest surplus in history when he left. But that just lets me know how efficient some people can be with talking about the presidents. Presidents, it's a weird situation because you're the most powerful office in the land and in the whole world. You're the leader of the free world. But you don't do much. You can't do much. You can pass a bill through. It'll get stopped. You can try to exercise your your powers, and they don't have much. Like Biden, he's against the ruling against abortion. I think mainly because he's Catholic. He's not as vociferous, but um he he's definitely for abortion, and the Supreme Court is not. So the Supreme Court has power over the president. He can't do anything about it. He can't. He can only have somewhat of a sway and say well, I actually do agree with the Supreme being able to abort the child or whatever the case may be. It's very goofy. And Obama, oh God, whew. Everybody says Obamacare, Obamacare, Obamacare. Obamacare was a is a vicious and ugly display of using your powers for evil. Because Obamacare is definitely evil. Everybody's saying, "Oh, well, everybody gets a chance to get on Medicare and get medicine and go for health care, But what about the medical providers? What about the administrators and the doctors and the nurses and everyone in between? They have to act as slaves to people based on the fact that they don't have enough money to have health insurance or health coverage. It's very strange. It's awful. It's hideous. But that's not his worst thing. That wasn't his worst moment, even though it ranks up there as high. His worst moment was when he said, "You didn't build that." He took a page out of Elizabeth Warren's book, and he told that these businessmen and these CEOs and business ladies, and he told them, "You didn't build that. You didn't make your fortunes. Why are you even considering the fact that you could create wealth or create jobs or create all these different things, build up your business? You didn't build the roads that you have to drive on. You didn't build the bridges. You didn't put in the work that your workers, you know, extend themselves for." And that's a horrific statement. You didn't build that. When in fact, they did build that. They did create that. They did make that. They did produce that. So I mean, I'm sure the people in the room are probably like looking around like, Is this guy serious? Or some of them were like, yeah, that's true. I didn't really build it. It's not, it's not me. It's everybody else. It's the collective. That's what's so, discouraging when you talk about the presidents. I mean, there's no nothing presidents like Eisenhower, you know, people. Gerald Ford is probably the closest, but he had issues too, even though he was thrust into the position of being president based on the first resignation of a president by the horrific Richard Nixon, who was on a scale on the negative probably, or even the low positives. He's not negative like a Hitler or a Kim or Mao Zedong or Stalin or Lenin or anything like that. But he's close. He's inching closer. The more records we unearth, the more ways we understand who he is or was, the man he was. With the presidents, I mean, but what does America do? America says, President's Day sale. Get a couch. Get buy one get one free. Drinks for President's Day. Get a sectional. Get a car. Get a brand new truck for President's Day. It's all for President's Day. It's a neutral weird situation. Because like I said, these four past presidents all have blood on their hands. Over 7,000 servicemen died, tens of thousands wounded. I technically am among those wounded, even though I wasn't deployed. But yeah, so that's the ticket that we have to definitely understand. We have to understand that ticket. We have to understand the way that the process is being made among us. We have to understand the role that certain people play and what makes up a president. See, I'm like Sherman, William Tecumseh Sherman, one of the greatest generals of all time, great American hero. He said, if nominated, I would not run. If elected, I would not serve. That's a paraphrase, I think. I don't think I said the right. Let me make sure. Let me do this right. Okay. So he's saying essentially, I will not accept if nominated and will not serve if elected. Okay. So I maybe get a place in the White House as an advisor to let them know what capitalism is. I wouldn't mind that. That would be fun. But otherwise than that, I would not run for president. I would not run for senator, anything like that. I don't hate myself as much to do that. You kind of do have to hate yourself, I think. You have to, it's almost like you fault them, but you can't understand. Because it's like it beats down on you. You can't, it's the nature of the beast. There's only a few, people that can pop up and challenge the status quo. I think that's Nikki Haley. I think she can really challenge the status quo. She reminds me of somebody that would be able to be effective, be competent, be assertive. I think that we would see, the wars in Ukraine and Israel, they would either slow down or come to a complete halt with the victories of Ukraine and Israel. And Ukraine has to crush Russia. Israel has to demolish Hamas and its leaders and Hezbollah and other factions. That's the key. They have to demolish them. Look what happened with World War II. World War II is a perfect example. We flattened Dresden, Germany. That's mamas, uncles, aunties, nephews, nieces. People were killed. Japan dropped 2 nuclear bombs, killed mothers, aunties, nephews, nieces, uncles, cousins. A lot of people, non-military personnel in both situations, perished. Were killed. But look at this. Germany and Japan. What are we now? We're best friends. America and United States and Germany. We got Audis. We got Porsches. We got Toyota and Sony. Come on. Because they knew they lost. I'm getting a page from Dr. Yaron Brook. Dr. Yaron Brook said they knew they lost. They have to know that they lost. It has to be ingrained in their brain. And the best way to do it is if we flatten every nuclear facility that is in progress in Iran. Oh, they just want to use it for energy. Oh, yeah, right. Like a abusive husband is, spouse of the year. So, President's Day. I hope you enjoy President's Day. I'm going to, probably do a little research, understand what presidents were around and see what they were doing with their lives and how real it is, to be a president. And that should be a vaulted, honorable position. We all know what it looks like now that we've seen Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden in office. We know that they have done horrible, terrible things. And they have let terrible things go. Now, I'm one of the only ones that call them out for it. That's the power of being, on this platform, especially. To being a part of this platform. I can say, the presidents, for the most part, are not so great. You got just a few, the last intellectual president was probably Lincoln. He was probably one of the most thoughtful presidents in all. And then there's the sad thing about school. What do they teach us? They teach us about Taft getting stuck in a bathtub. I didn't know the validity of that. Coolidge. He was saying that he was at a dinner party and a woman leaned over to him. He was a very calm, very collected kind of guy, and she says, "I bet I can make you say more than 2 words." And he says, "You lose." Why do we get the pop culture? Why don't we get their policies? Why don't we get their notions towards government? What happened with the school systems where everything turned into pop culture and instead of analysis and true reckoning of what these men, all of them have been men, by the way, so far, had brought to light? That's my question, and I hope you ponder it. So enjoy this President's Day. If you're working, I hope you got double time and a half. I hope you're getting a lot of money. If you're off today, look up stuff about the presidents. Just look up, see what they're about, see what their lives were, understand who they were, and do enjoy whatever's left, even if you don't get a chance to get that mattress sale. Thank you very much. Take care.